Jabroni, Jabronixyz, oh, it doesn't matter, you spell jabroni.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Two Jabronis with a Wrestling Podcast. BJ Cruz here with my tag team partner. Live from the Firefly Funhouse, the man who has planned to go a slapjack out in these Halloween streets, the incomparable Jeremy Loss. Jay, what is up, my dude?
Oh, I'm definitely going as slapjack. My wife is going as Mia Yim's character. I keep forgetting her name.
Reckoning?
Reckoning, and she's gonna have just a weird nervous breakdown on the side of the street.
Tell her she can only do that if she has like some sort of fake seizure. That is that was
I'm still lost as to what that was last night. That was the weirdest thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Retribution as a whole has been just weird, but that was odd.
I also love how they just kind of went to break in the middle of her like flipping out, like we're gonna go to break. Like I'm sorry.
She comes back, she's just fine.
Yeah, or no, she got kicked. I think she got kicked out of ringside, which was also kind of funny. Anyway, well, we may or may not get back to that because I felt ridiculous talking about it. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you download your podcasts. And for our Apple Podcast users, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you're feeling spicy, leave a review. And our Spotify people, hit us with that follow and help us climb those Spotify charts. For those people who helped us climb the Apple charts, we were number 69 on all of wrestling Apple Pods.
Yeah.
Making everyone proud, especially our parents.
Yep. I called my mom this morning. I was like, you're not going to believe it. Your boy is number 69.
That's a weird conversation to have, but I'm going to sidestep it and let you plug our socials.
Oh, man. My mom listens to this podcast, so that's going to be an interesting conversation when she does eventually call me. Make sure that you subscribe and like our YouTube channel. It's Two Jabronis with a Wrestling Podcast. You get to see our lovely faces. You get to see me in the Firefly Funhouse. So subscribe, like that YouTube channel. Help us out. Make sure that you follow us on social at Two Jabronis Pod on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow me personally at Jeremy A. Loss on Twitter, and you can follow Ben at Cruise Control. That is control with a K. All
right. We've got some stuff to talk about. Hell in a Cell is always an interesting pay-per-view, and it definitely didn't disappoint in terms of it being at least interesting. So with all that, it's time to stick to wrestling. And for this week's Stick to Wrestling, we're running down this Hell in a Cell card because, look, whenever it's these non-Big Four pay-per-views, you and I aren't that excited. Just because we always expect the worst. We kind of set the bar a little lower. Mm-hmm. Hell in a Cell, I feel, is like kind of in the middle, right? It's not one of the Big Four, but it's also not like a Backlash or an Extreme Rules.
Don't disrespect Backlash like that. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I would say this is like...
I think it's like a tier above. It's a tier above.
You think this is tier 2?
Yes. So, yes. Yeah. It's right there because there's some great stuff that comes out of Hell in a Cell year to year. It's maybe not top to bottom great pay-per-views consistently, but it has its moments. The Cell in of itself is an event, right?
I can get behind that. I could say like if we're doing tiers based off of like 4, 4, 4, I mean you could probably say this is like middle of tier 2.
Right.
So I mean I can get behind it. This one had its moments, but it also had its moments where I was like, Jesus, this is not great. And I think I may be in the minority here, but a lot of those moments came during that Roman match.
Yeah, I mean, the storytelling from the Roman match was unmatched.
It was great, but there was also moments where they didn't do anything.
Yeah, and it was also interesting that they let off the show with it, right? And it was just, I think, usually they put a higher energy match just up top. Maybe they were messing around with some stuff. Maybe it doesn't matter as much without the actual physical people of a live crowd. But it just kind of seemed misplaced was my biggest gripe with it.
Yeah, I get that. I think that makes a ton of sense because you're right. Like, that match works a lot better. And don't get me wrong, it was good. I thought what they did in those last 3 to 5 minutes really saved it. But there were some moments in the middle and even at the beginning of that match where it's like, this is not great. And I think a large part it fell on the ref. The ref was he was trying way too hard to get involved in that. And I think that also ties to the I quit stipulation in here. Like, do we really need an I quit stipulation within a cage?
It was weird.
But it was weird. But I think that match works so much better as the main event where you're really hammering home the story. And then you get that moment at the end, and that's how you go off the air. You go off the air with Roman crying and then turning on Jimmy and then getting the lay at the end to be the tribal chief, and you have that image. I think that is so much more powerful than whatever they end up having with Drew and Randy. It was a mixed emotions match for me because I was expecting so much and I wasn't getting it in that first 3/4 of the match, and then it just fucking went into overdrive in those last 5 minutes. I mean, Roman crying and then immediately putting Jimmy in the guillotine was just like, holy shit. That was one of those moments where you're like, okay, this is the good shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff that as wrestling fans you want to see on a week-to-week basis.
Do you think you would have felt different if it was the last match of the night? Like, does it completely change the way you feel about it? The exact same thing, but it's the send-off, and we kind of are sent home, maybe not happy, but it's just, that's, like you said, it's more of a lasting ending image as opposed to Randy kind of being the champ
think if
again.
That's the main event, it's over Bayley Sasha. Bayley Sasha was the match of the night for me.
Oh, it's not even close.
But I think in terms of moment, that would have been it. That would have been like the lasting thought of everybody's mind going out of Sunday night. I know why they put Randy and Drew on as a main event, because they want that main event to easily transition into Raw the next night.
Sure.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense to put your main event and then you got to wait a full week to see him again.
Well, I also think that they put the Randy Drew match on last because he was going to win the title, and two, right after it was they're doing that 30 days of the Undertaker?
Yeah.
And it was the Randy episode. So that just kind of flowed from a programming standpoint. So I think it was just a double whammy there where you're right. It's going to go into Raw the next day, and then also, you know, that documentary, which was actually pretty solid as well. So it was interesting. Like you said, I didn't this was probably my least favorite Roman match since he's gone full heel. But that's not to say it was bad. That's just to say it wasn't like he's had some incredible matches already, and that just kind of overshadowed this one. So, but that being said, like the storytelling, I think really, really, really saved it and was just elite, which is not shocking. Like he's been doing some elite storytelling this entire time that he's been this Roman Reigns.
I want to give WWE credit here because we shit on them quite a bit for their storytelling, and we can talk a little bit more about it later when we get to the Otis Miz situation.
Yeah.
But what they did and what they're doing with Roman, Sasha and Bayley, Alexa and The Fiend is really good stuff. Yep. Like, this is really, really quality stuff. I was emotional watching this Roman match. At one point when he's crying, I tweeted out, I was like, oh shit, they're going to turn him face again. And then almost the moment I hit send, he puts Jimmy in the guillotine. I was like, oh shit, never mind. Like, that's... And I don't remember the last time WWE is like pulled at my heartstrings that much and my feelings, because I'm a calloused wrestling fan.
We're jaded at this point, right? And what's crazy too is one of the slights on Roman, you know, when everyone felt he was being pushed down our throats or whatever, was he wasn't a great actor, quote unquote. He had everyone, right? Whether you want to use that picture of him crying as a meme or you were actually sucked in, like, he had everyone in the palm of his hands in that moment. And it was just crazy to see this. Again, he's doing probably the best work of his career. And again, he's like on a heater. And it's crazy because he couldn't do that when he was white meat babyface Roman Reigns. Everyone
he
would
needed
have
the time
shit
away
on him.
to get into this character.
Right.
He needed the time away.
It's like some weird Daniel Day-Lewis method acting shit that he's just like locked in. Even when he's doing appearances on ESPN and these interviews that you'll see on Twitter and podcasts, like he's so locked in on this character. It's kind of surreal to see, and it's kind of incredible. And you're just happy for this dude who we know he's a genuinely good guy.
Yeah, he's starting to get the respect that he deserves. I will say one gripe I have in a lot of the reactions I saw to this is I saw a lot of people saying that Roman deserves the Oscar, and my guy is on TV.
It's an Emmy.
He deserves an Emmy.
It's an Emmy.
Get that shit. I was like ready to go in on everybody. I'm like, it's not a movie. He can't win an Oscar. But it was a quality performance. I really enjoyed it. The Usos, fucking top notch, man. Those guys are great. They deserve even more push. Jay carried his side of the deal. I think like I said before, the ref was really kind of hindered this thing because he saw his moment for the spotlight and he tried to take it, and he was in it way too much. I'm starting to think that, and maybe I'm not thinking about it clearly enough, but like Heyman is completely irrelevant here. I've seen a lot of people reach out to me after I said that, just saying like, I think that he's going to play a big part going down the line, but right now he's almost irrelevant in this storyline.
Yeah, I think
it's weird.
I think it was important for everyone to buy the turn early on, for Heyman to be aligned with him. I think that really helped because remember when Roman came back, and when he came back before he aligned himself with Heyman, everyone was like, "Oh, is this a heel turn?" People still weren't sure, despite him talking shit, despite him, not clearly doing heel stuff. People still weren't sure. Once he aligned himself with Heyman, they're like, "Oh, it's for real." And it took Heyman to take him seriously as a heel. And now, you're right. Like he doesn't necessarily need him, but I think separating from him at this point would probably be a little too early. I think they need to stick together for a while. And at some point, it's going to be, because we're all expecting Heyman to turn on Roman. It's going to be the other way around. Right, like the way this is going, Roman is going to turn on Heyman, and that's going to be incredible. Like we're just all waiting for that.
Does that mean Brock is a babyface when he returns to save Heyman?
Not necessarily, but I mean, it's probably just one of those situations where Roman turns.
I wouldn't be mad at that because it would put Brock in a different position than he's been in since he initially returned.
I mean, yeah, to that point, it could be like a Kevin Owens effect, where like we've seen Kevin Owens as a heel like 95% of his career. And to see him as a face was super refreshing, and he's doing some great work.
Now I want him back as a heel.
Yeah, he's kind of like flip. But anyway, I mean, it's a good point by you. Like, could Brock do it? I mean, it would have us see him differently, which we haven't done in a very, very long time. So maybe it could be good for his character. I don't know if he'd buy into it, but it would be super, super interesting.
It would be interesting to see. Another thing that was interesting was that Sasha Bailey match. Interesting, probably not the right word.
God.
Fucking amazing is the right word there.
Incredible.
I mean, they beat the shit out of each other, and I loved every second of it. But Sasha Banks, man, she's been in, 3 Hell in a Cell matches now, and every single one, it gets better and better and better. And she does more crazy shit. She did the Meteora onto the chair.
She was doing the Meteora off everything. She's like, if I can run off of anything, I'm doing the Meteora. It was like that parkour scene from The Office. With
multiple
off
kendo
shit.
stick spots that looked absolutely brutal, where she took the bump into the kendo sticks, and then she took the other bump where Bailey like whipped her into the kendo sticks.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Those are some crazy bumps. And then she also took the chair shot where she fell, like she went neck first into the chair.
Yeah, I thought she legit got hurt on that one because I think I thought they were aiming a little higher, and her head kind of nicked the end of the chair. Was a little concerned there. The way she was selling in this match was amazing. It was chef's kiss good, great. Dare I not? I'm sorry, it's not. It wasn't good. It was fucking great, and to like, you knew she was going to make this look like $1 million. And Bailey too. Bailey was fantastic as well. But I feel like Sasha specifically took it to another level where I was like, there were several spots throughout the match where I was like, I think she's hurt. I think we may need to I think someone need to throw up an X here. But she just kept it moving. And then that ending was phenomenal, just using the chair as leverage for the bank statement.
Kicking
it, adding more leverage. Like, that's when you knew it was over. But, oh, man, it was a phenomenal way.
Do you think that's what, like, separates, for me at least, that's what separates Sasha from the rest of the 4 horsewomen? And I'm not trying to downplay any of the other 3. They're all incredible. They've all done Hall of Fame worthy work. But I think what separates Sasha for me is her ability to not only look great herself, but to put her combatant over to another level and sell her ass off. Like, Charlotte is really great, but I don't think Charlotte sells as well as Sasha. I don't think Becky tells a story as well as Sasha, and I don't think Bayley has the offense that can match Sasha. I think Sasha just has different elements that are just head and shoulders above the other 3.
Yeah, I mean, she's the most versatile of the 4, and I don't know if it's close, if that makes sense. Like, again, just watching her adapt and evolve her offensive moveset. Like, let's leave the selling thing alone for a second. Her offensive moveset, just watching it evolve over the years, has been crazy. And, you know, again, it's simple stuff where it's like the Meteora is a great move, just as is. Like, on the surface, a lot of people do it now, but for her to just find different, I think she had like 4 or 5, maybe 6 different variations of the Meteora in that match alone, and it's just like, that's insane to think about, because you think if you have a certain way to do it, maybe you might have 1 variation of it, maybe 2 if you're really that innovative, but to have that many and to constantly just tell Bayley, like, this is what we're going to do, this is how I'm going to do it. That's just crazy to me. And then, look, the selling is what separates the good from the great, right? That's just in all of wrestling history. Sasha's one of the best sellers in wrestling, period. Not just in the women's division, period. Like, the way she sells makes you think she's getting legitimately hurt. And it's why, and you know, maybe early on she actually was suffering some legitimate injuries, right? Where we were like, oh crap, like I kind of like knocked her off her momentum. But man, I was blown away. I've seen her do amazing work like that, but on Sunday specifically, I was just blown away about how she was taking it to. She turned it to 11 basically.
Yeah, and also big ups to Bayley too, because this was probably one of Bayley's best matches in the WWE. This was really, really good. This was on par with their initial takeover match,
if not better. It was like it's like better, right there, and you know, we could go back and forth.
It just told an incredible story. Also, did you notice in this match and in the Roman match, the heels were wearing all black and the baby faces were wearing all white?
Yeah, I did notice that, but I think the wrestlers now have probably the most control they've ever had over their ring gear, because Sasha's husband is one of the ring gear designers in WWE. I know that, but just from, you know, kind of watching a lot of behind the scenes stuff, you know, Seth, Johnny Gargano, they're always, you know, finding pop culture references to sprinkle in to their gear. I think it might have just been coincidence that it was, you know, the good characters, quote unquote, or the face characters were wearing white and the heel characters were wearing black.
I'm hoping that it was actually just like a little bit of a storytelling deal. Like, I actually liked it. I thought it was like just a nice little touch. So I watched the Roman match. I was like, oh, that's funny that they're like Roman's in black and Jay's in white. And then I saw Sasha and Bayley. Like, oh shit, okay. But I think now we have to figure out when did they run this back, because they have to. They have to run back Bayley Sasha. They're not doing it at Survivor Series, because Survivor Series is going to be
champ versus champ.
Sasha. So are we waiting until January for the Rumble?
I thought that, like, Sasha doing the bank statement with the chair, stepping on it, they were gonna do some kayfabe injury for Bayley, and she was gonna be out for the foreseeable future. Then she returns, and that's what reignites their feud. Bayley kind of got back up, so it remains to be seen. I still think that's probably the best move. I think Bayley, Sasha got a little break there, right? When Bayley hurt her after kayfabe hurt her during her turn. And I think because Bayley and Sasha were working overtime for the longest time, right? Like they were on 3 shows when they were the women's tag team champions, essentially.
Yeah.
And it got wild. I think they're setting Bayley up to take, at the very least, a couple weeks off to recover, and potentially even longer than that, so she can return like at the Rumble. And then
you can have her interfere in the match at Survivor Series to keep the story going, and then have her disappear for at least the month of December.
Sure, yeah.
Have her come back in January, have her win the Rumble, and then you have that build from Rumble to Mania just to hype it up a little bit more. And it also gives Sasha a chance, at least at the December pay-per-view and the Rumble, to get some pay-per-view wins. Yeah. She doesn't defend the title on pay-per-views. So, give her some of those wins and then have it go in a main. This has to be at Mania. I'm still of the mind that if you don't have Rock Roman, this is your main event. It has to be. I mean, it's so good.
They proved it that they can do it. Like, they've proved it before, but this was just the cherry on top of that proving it, right? It was like on a card with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. They outshined everyone, and it wasn't close. Like, they had the match of the night, and it wasn't close. And that's crazy, right? Because their placement on the card too was a little, like that easily could have been the main event, and we wouldn't even blinked an eye. Yep. And I hope that there is some movement towards them being the main event at 37. Big proponents of that on this show. So it's just a matter of what they do with Bayley, I think, leading up to then.
I mean, if they end up having to do the 2-night situation again because of all the things going on in the world, and the fact that we still haven't found any way to control this virus, like, this could be the main event for night 1, and then night 2 could be a Roman match. I'm almost positive that there's no crowd, there's no way in hell they're getting The Rock. So you can do Roman versus whoever, Roman Big E or something, as your night 2 main event.
I mean, it'll be interesting that, there were a couple rumors, just while we're on this WrestleMania thing, that they could move it, right? Because California is just a little bit more strict in terms of how they are opening things up.
Well, yeah, they want to move it to Tampa Bay again.
Yeah, there's like people there. Like at Buccaneers games right now, there's people there. So technically they could move, and they didn't have it there last year. They could move it back, which is...
they could even... Yeah, because the governor of Florida is a gigantic idiot, and he's like, I can have full stadiums, so... It's possible. That's an option. I hope to God they don't do that.
I hope to God not. But look, the point
is... Because not only are you putting the thousands of fans that are going to be that would be in attendance in trouble, you're also putting your talent in trouble. And Roman, we all know, missed a lot of time because of this situation. So it's just,
messy.
We're a few months away, but this is just, it's not looking great.
Yeah.
But and to spin this back, like, I would not be mad if if Sasha Bayley was your main event. I think it makes a ton of sense.
It as of right now, it should be.
And then I'm also worried that they would find a way to shoehorn Charlotte in there.
Yeah, she seems to be on her way back pretty soon, but I think the move seems to be putting her back on Raw, right? Like that just seems to be the smarter.
I hope so. Raw needs a
their women's division is
thin.
That was not proven more than when they were like, you know what, who's going to take this 5th spot? And then they gave it to Lana. Like, no disrespect to Lana, but I would have rather seen Peyton Royce in that spot. I would have rather seen Nikki Cross in that spot.
What are they doing with Peyton Royce? Like, they split her up from Billy, and then they put her in a tag team with Lacey, and then now she's just like, she's not in the Survivor.
There's not a whole lot of direct, like, it made a ton of sense for her to be in the match. But it's kind of the same thing that they did with Mandy Rose, right? They separate her from Sonya Deville. You think they're gonna shoot her to the moon, and now she's in a tag team with Dana Brooke. So I don't know. There's not a whole lot of direction on the Raw.
Peyton Royce in AEW would be one of the top stars.
Oh, she'd be friggin' phenomenal.
They would give her the mic, just be yourself, and Peyton Royce with the mic is fucking hilarious.
She's really good, really funny, just charismatic.
I went off on a tangent. I can't believe what they're doing.
You're a Peyton Royce stan. It's okay.
She's really good, and they just keep like. Lana is doing her job. She's doing her job well.
Yeah.
She's also taking an immense amount of punishment.
He's gone through like 6 stables since Rusev went to AEW. This is wild.
I mean, it's fine, but Peyton Royce deserves a little bit more than what she's getting. Let's talk, before we get into Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, we're going to rifle through this because we spent a little bit too much time on the other two. Otis Miz. What the fuck?
Oh, my biggest takeaway from this whole situation was that I feel bad for Otis in that there was clearly no direction for him.
That was my takeaway. It's like they literally had no idea what to do with him. Probably the day after Money in the Bank.
They got the super cheap pop and the super cheap internet darling reaction after he won Money in the Bank because everyone was swerved. Right, no one saw this coming. It was crazy the way he won it. I forgot who was battling for it. It was like Corbin and someone else, AJ maybe. Yeah. And it just falls in his lap. It's like, oh, it's going to be the Cinderella story. It's going to be awesome. He might cash it in on the tag team champions. Blah, blah, all this stuff. There was clearly no plan for him. And now, look, there's no... I mean, The Miz makes... Let's just put it this way. The Miz, as the Money in the Bank holder, makes more sense than Otis ever did. Like, let's just call it what it is. But it just sucks that they didn't give Otis a legitimate shot to cash it in or as to be taken seriously. He was off TV for the longest time.
Even if you don't have direction for him, write it in the day of like a SmackDown saying you're gonna go cash it in. You're gonna lose, but you're gonna cash it in.
And that's fine. That's totally fine.
That's fine. This just screamed like we don't know what to do with him.
We like him.
Manny's
we like
gone.
him. Yeah, jeez.
And now we're gonna give it to the Miz. And by the way, we're gonna have Tucker turn on him. And by the way, they're on separate fucking brands.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I guess this is their way of hopefully pushing Otis as a single star. But you know how else you push Otis as a single star? You give him the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Let him have the title. Like, give Otis the title for a day.
For a night.
Who gives a shit?
Right, like have him cash in at the end of Clash of Champions or even Hell in a Cell last night. Have him win it and lose it on Raw the next night. Like it's not a huge thing.
It really isn't, and it's just like, okay, let's give it to the Miz. And maybe this is because like does Miz have a new series, like a new season of Miz and Mrs. Miz and Mrs.
I'm not a big Miz and Mrs. guy. No shade. I don't throw it on. I only watch USA when I'm watching Raw. So, I mean, that show's still on. So, that's big. I guess is all I can say. But I think the stars are aligning a little bit where the last time Miz cashed in, Randy was also champion, right? So I think they're just trying to mirror 10 years ago, and because that's the current status of everything right now. Randy's champion, Miz has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So,
okay. So the remainder of season 2 is returning in November. So that's the reason.
There it is. But
that's
I mean,
the reason. He's gonna win the belt.
He is also he's a great Money in the Bank briefcase holder because he's just gonna do like the chicken heel shit, right? Where he's like, am I gonna cash it in? Am I not? Or he's just gonna wait till whoever's champion is super gets their ass beat and then cash it in. It's just gonna be one of those situations, and you buy that more from the Miz. Otis would have been.
My question here is, if the Miz cashes in and wins, where do you go? Do you go a John Morrison route where you have them feud for the title? Do you have him feud with Randy Orton? Do you have him feud with The Fiend? Like, where do you go from there?
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I feel like Morrison would be great. Actually, I think that would be super different.
But is that a WWE title feud?
Probably.
That feels like a USA,
probably
US title feud.
Probably not. I don't know if Vince never really has bought in to John Morrison. The first time around, and kind of even now, right? Like he's just kind of put him back where he was. Tag team specialist. So, but I guess there's a bunch of options that he could take on. The Fiend is one of them. Like that would be super interesting. Drew, they kind of started that feud a little bit on Raw last night.
Also super interesting. Sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
They have him win the Money in the Bank match.
Loses.
And then the next night he loses.
Yeah. That seems par for the course in terms of how they book the talent. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't know. That'd be a great question to answer when he is champion. I feel like that when he's champion, he just feels like a champion who's involved in a lot of fatal four-ways, some triple threats, because there is no singular guy that he could feud with, because there's just a bunch of guys who hate him, if that makes sense. So,
I'm sad for Otis, and I think
big bummer.
They really just kind of painted themselves into a corner, and they didn't do a good job of figuring out a way out. And now they've kind of set themselves up for something that's really not that great and anticlimactic. So we'll see. But let's just rifle through this really quick, because we got to pay some bills, and then we got to talk about Halloween Havoc. Excuse me. Your boy just finished a vodka cranberries for the first time since he was like 20.
Jeremy's doing some underage drinking.
So, excuse me. So Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton was fine. It was not great.
It's good.
They got on top of the cage, and then
for no
my guy
particular
didn't throw
reason,
him off the top of the cage. They threw him off the side of the cage.
They kind of got on top of the cage for no particular reason. I feel like Randy could have just walked around the cage, climbed up halfway on the backside on the announcer table, lured him in that way. But I guess he lured him in so he could attack him with the lightsaber. That was
my question. I was like, is he holding a lightsaber?
It was funny too, because I was watching it with my wife. She said the same thing as I was thinking it, and then I looked on Twitter, and like 9 people had been like, "Damn, he was hiding a lightsaber on top of that red cell. That's crazy."
He had the high ground. He was ready to do some work. Also, shout out Mandalorian's coming back on Friday
with the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. Hey,
I think we called that too.
We did. I mean we looked at the betting odds, Mandalorian. It all aligned. We should.
It was just it's all there.
We should have put
same with Randy. I called Randy. I'm fine with him winning the title. They needed to move off this feud, if only for a month between now and whatever the December pay-per-view is, because Survivor Series allows them to have a little bit of a buffer. But they needed to do something. I'm interested with the Fiend here also getting involved. Shout out fucking Alexa Bliss for just doing incredible work with this whole gimmick.
Her sitting on top of the turnbuckle while Drew and Randy were fighting was so good. It was just.
You notice that her gloves say like pain and play.
Oh, on the sides. Is that on the sides?
Yeah, they say play and pain. It's just good stuff. Randy with the title's fine. It'd be interesting to see if they allow him to get to 16 and they can do the retirement. I think he had said something along these lines of saying like, I want to get to 16 and face John Cena, and whoever wins
breaks
like
the
it's a
record.
retirement match for both of them, and whoever wins ends up having like the most title reigns.
That's crazy. That's good booking by Randy. Look at him. Look at this foresight.
If that was WrestleMania 40.
Oh, I'm in.
I mean, they'd both be old as shit, but John Cena hasn't wrestled forever.
That'll be the first time that we're allowed in public.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So. Welcome back, people. It's WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down for that. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, Drew McIntyre's title reign was okay. It needed to end. He needed a refresher, even though they seem like they're doing the exact same thing with him, just without the belt. I just want to see something fresh from both of them.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I do remember thinking as they were going through the match where I thought it was kind of winding down. I was like, did we just have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view with 3 cell matches and no one climbed to the top? once the door opened, I was like, oh, okay, this will be the time that someone is climbing to the top.
That should definitely be a requirement for every Cell pay-per-view. Is like someone has to go to the top, and I also think there has to be color in every Cell match. I need to see some blood. You're wrestling in a gigantic cage with unlimited weapons,
and you're using.
I need to see some color.
You're using the cage as a weapon. You have a ring of stuff underneath, or stuff underneath the ring.
Somebody needs to start blading here because I need to see some blood.
Yeah, I think Drew definitely was bleeding, but after he fell on the announce table, right? I saw some blood coming out of his mouth.
Oh, probably. He probably had some sort of like blood capsule or something.
That might have been. I don't know if that seemed real. I don't know. He looked like.
I need to see like Shawn Michaels level like bad blood.
You want to see the Crimson Mask?
I need to. Yes.
Okay.
It's Hell in a Cell. I want to see somebody leaking. Hit a gusher. Give me something. Like I would have loved like Sasha Bailey with some color. Damn, man, that would have been dope.
That's good shit. As
that is very good shit.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon would say.
So those are my rules. Same with like TLC and Extreme Rules. Hell in a Cell has rules. Somebody has to go to the top, and we need to see some color. So
I think that's fair prerequisite wise. I mean, yeah, Mick Foley
I'm not asking for much.
Mick Foley would agree with you.
I'm not asking for 5-star matches. I'm asking for blood.
Yeah,
give me blood,
which is fair. On that, let's pay these bills. We're gonna take a quick break to talk about our friends over at Bet Online. Football is back in full swing. You might not be at a game this year, but you can still be in on the action at Bet Online. Bet Online is going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on every possible chance to win this season. From game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, Bet Online gives you more options to wager than anywhere else. You can get in on their season opening bonuses today and start off wagering on wins, division, and championship futures all day, every day. Head to Bet Online today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. Don't forget to use promo code BLUEWIRE at betonline.ag. That's BLUEWIRE, all one word. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
Now let's take a moment to hear from our friends over at Indeed. Even though sports had a break, your business didn't. You have to keep moving, and that makes hiring more important than ever. Indeed is here to help. Indeed.com is the #1 job site in the world because Indeed gets you the best people fast. Unlike other sites, Indeed gives you full control and payment flexibility over your hiring. You only pay for what you need, and you can pause your account at any time, and there are no long-term contracts. Plus, Indeed provides powerful tools to make your search that much easier, like sponsored jobs, which are shown to be 3.5 times more likely to result in a hire. With 73% of online job seekers visiting Indeed each month, Indeed is going to get you the important hire you need, just like they have for over 3 million businesses. Right now, Indeed is offering our listeners a free $75 credit to boost your job post, which means more quality candidates will see it fast. Try Indeed out with a free $75 credit at Indeed.com/BlueWire. This is their best offer available anywhere. Go right now to Indeed.com/BlueWire. Terms and conditions apply. Offer valid through December 31st.
All right. Halloween Havoc is later tonight when you're listening to this. We're recording this on Tuesday night, a little later than we usually record. Long story short, I threw out my back playing with my daughter.
You got dad problems.
I had those, and I had to text Jeremy from the floor of my living room, hey, can we record tomorrow because I cannot move? And it was good times. It was good times.
I've done that at least like 4 times since having kids. It just it comes to the territory.
It's a lot. Having kids is like a full body workout with cardio. You're just running around, chasing them, lifting them, carrying them.
See,
it's crazy.
It is, but at the same time, I wish my body kind of reflected that full body workout because I just have
it's
a
definitely
dad bod.
It's low impact. It's a low impact workout.
Like I look like I can't lift anything, but I'm pretty strong now because because I have monster children.
Yeah.
And but I just wish I was like, why can't the dad bod just be like 6-pack abs? Like some killer like Bill Goldberg style traps.
We should talk to Triple H because Triple H is a dad and he's still jacked Jacked AF.
He's on steroids.
Well, I'm not here to throw out allegations.
I'm throwing allegations here. My guy is on steroids.
I am going to sidestep that so hard because we're going to talk about Triple H's baby happening tonight, Halloween Havoc. It's hosted by Shotzi Blackheart. That's big for her. Little hosting gig.
We need her on the pod.
We do need her on the pod. I'm trying. I've
working your channels.
I'm working the channels. I've thrown the Filipino card a couple of times out on Twitter because I think that's like the easiest way. And there's not a whole lot of us in this wrestling space who are Filipino. So that's on the table. Hopefully we get her on the show soon. But she's the host of tonight's card. And we've got some Halloween-themed matches, unsurprisingly, 2 of which has to do with a wheel of some sort. What is it called?
Spin the wheel, make the deal match, which is like, it's like a classic stipulation that was like introduced back in like Halloween Havoc 92. It's been around. We just don't know what the matches are going to be. And those are for the 2 title matches on the card. So the Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae and Damian Priest Johnny Gargano match. I'm sure there's going to be some fucking wonky ass shit that comes out of this.
I mean, do you think Mr. and Mrs. Gargano are leaving with the titles?
Yes.
As a married couple?
Yep.
Interesting.
This is it. This is your chance. You got your heel champions winning on at Halloween Havoc. Fuck it. Let's do it.
How long? Okay. I just don't think Io and Damian have had the belts long enough. And that's a bummer because, look, Damian Priest has had a hell of a year. And I think it would be a bummer to end it now because I don't think Johnny needs the title.
He doesn't, but at the same time, I just think it makes for a good story. And I think it makes things a little bit interesting.
It's definitely an image that WWE could pump on their socials, right? Like a married couple having 2 belts in NXT. They can use that as part of their gimmick moving forward. So that makes a whole lot of sense. I'm just not on board fully yet with Damian and Io losing the belts. I think they've been great champions. But I do, on the flip side, I will say if Io loses the belt, I don't know if I'd be as bummed because I think she could get it. 1, I think she could get it back. And 2, Candice LeRae deserves a title run. Right? She's done incredible work as both a heel and a face. And to reward her for that could be this evening.
I think it opens things up a little bit more if Candice wins. Because if she wins, you have your heel champion. You have Ember Moon, who just came back as a babyface.
Yep.
You have Io, and you can have Io and Toni Storm, who just returned. They can feud. So it gives some really quality feuds coming out of this. And then maybe Io can circle back to it after she defeats Toni. But I just think it opens it up a little bit more than if Io wins. Because if Io wins, it's still a little confusing as, does she go Ember Moon? And if that's the case, who's the heel, who's the face? I know that they can do face, but at the same time, like, I think it just makes more sense to have who's the heel, who's the face. And with Candice, it makes things a little bit clearer. With Johnny and Damian, I think now's your time to move Damian up to the main title.
Oh, okay. I see that.
Because I don't know when Karrion Kross is coming back. Who else is in the main title picture?
That's fair. I mean, who knows where Cole's going? He should be in the main title picture technically, but he's not. So okay, I see you fantasy booking.
Or if you want Cole, if they're still insisting that Cole is a babyface, or if maybe Kyle O'Reilly's a babyface, that's who you have challenge Johnny Gargano. Cole going for a second reign as North American title champion, or you have Kyle O'Reilly going for his first belt now that he lost the NXT title. Like, there's opportunity there, and I like Damian Priest. Finn Balor had a lot of good chemistry in the ring.
That's true.
I like that.
They had a hell of a match a few months ago. So all right, I'm into this. Let's rewind a little bit. We have Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis in a name the stipulation for me again because I don't want to get it wrong. It's
Haunted House of Terror match.
Sure. So whatever that means.
Cage match? Is it a cage match?
I don't think so. I think it'd have to be. This feels cinematic. Right. I think
Are they going to do a match in like those haunted houses that you see at like the fair?
Like Universal?
Yeah.
Where people jump out at you?
Shit. Okay.
I'm
quick story time.
Oh no.
I did one of those things and damn near peed my pants.
Did you throw fisticuffs at any of the workers?
I did hold the hands up like I was ready to throw hands. And then my guy came out with a chainsaw and I booked it. And it was the most terrifying thing. I left my girlfriend at the time behind me.
A chainsaw. Well, that's probably why
we
you
came
got
out with
together.
a chainsaw. And I was with my, this is like way back in the day because I've been with my wife for quite some time now. But like my girlfriend at the time, we were walking through, chainsaw, you hear the and chainsaw came out. He ran it across the floor so the sparks flew.
Oh.
Dropped her hand and I booked it.
Oh no, that's probably why it didn't work out. It's because when push came to shove,
reason number one why it didn't work out.
When push came to shove, if you were in any real danger, she knows how you would have reacted. Can't say I blame her, but hey, it all worked out. I'm sure she's happy.
Have you ever gone to Knott's Berry Farm during Halloween too?
Not during Halloween. I've been, but just not during Halloween.
I did that like when I was a kid, and my parents thought it was funny to like make it known to all the people because like they just have characters that walk around the amusement park and scare you. And my parents thought it was really funny to point out that I was scared. So like they were like, he's scared.
Oh no.
And they would come out of the fucking woodworks and like out of the bushes and shit and scare me. My guy came out of the trash can when I was trying to put away a fucking soda.
Nope.
And scared me.
That's why I can't do these. I can't do these. Like I'm already scared to live. Right. I feel like life is just one of these things, and it's free. Like, why would I pay to go get scared? That's just my life philosophy. I don't watch horror movies. I don't pay to go to the theme parks during Halloween time. It's crazy. Like I'm already scared about life, so I don't need it. Anyway, that being said, I'm still excited for Halloween Havoc.
What a transition!
We had to bring that back, but Dexter Lumis, I like Cameron Grimes. Like he's kind of floated in like the bid card for what feels like forever at this point. I kind of like his work. He's kind of funny.
He's fine.
He can kind of work.
He's fine.
But
I like Dexter Lumis. I think he's got that look, and I know that we've talked about him before, like how his skin just looks like it's always like sunburn.
Yeah. He just has one of those complexions. But
I think they have big plans for him.
I feel like,
what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too. He's got the classic look. Cameron Grimes, I think he's so unorthodox that it makes me like dig his vibe. I'm like, hey, if he was the Intercontinental Champion, would that be the worst thing in the world?
His finisher looks like it hurts too.
Yeah, he's good. He's really solid.
He's fine. He looks okay. This is gonna sound.
You look like you're about to say. I was about to say, you have that look on your face like you're about to say something really messed up, and then you said it. So,
I mean, that's probably. He looks like he doesn't shower. So,
I don't know that either. I mean, who knows? I guess we can ask some of his opponents. In the ring.
Can I reach out to him just like, hey man,
just add him.
Do you shower?
Cameron Grimes? Yeah. What's your lather routine? Just like try to poke holes.
Are you a rinse and repeat kind of guy?
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on. Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley in a singles match.
I'm going Rhea. I mean,
are they still on the Rhea train?
I think they need to be. If they're not, they need to be back on it. I think they were just on that train too short, like too quickly, and they hopped right off. And look, the pandemic had something to do with it because I think she had to go back home for a while. But now she's back, and she's as badass as ever. Like, they need to rebuild her and just remind us that this is almost like a year. It's not a full year.
This is a year to the day, like a year since she broke out on the scene.
Right, it started to build that she was like this badass, and like a year later, here we are, and she's just in, I guess, sort of inconsequential singles match.
You know what? I'm gonna go out and say it. Have her lose and put her on Raw.
Yes.
Just do it
immediately.
Raw needs a new player in the women's division. Fucking Rhea versus Asuka.
That's money.
Sign me up.
And you can
do it.
If you kind of circling back to something we said earlier, if you had to bring back Charlotte to Raw, which would just deepen that division, that's money right there too. A little triple threat action.
The rematch.
Yeah, you could do the rematch for some singles action. It'd be good. I like that. So, here's hoping Rhea loses so that she ends up on Raw. Big things.
We're hoping for good things for Rhea. Just lose this match. That's all we're asking for.
Right. Wins and losses, do they really matter? I mean,
not even in AEW where they say they matter.
They say they do, but
Eddie Kingston is getting a title match and he doesn't have a singles.
I can't tell you anyone's record. I'll just say that. We have Pat McAfee showing up with his new guys, the tag team champions, Oney Lorcan and the other bald white guy,
Danny Burch.
Danny Burch. I'm interested to see how they. They're clearly feuding with Undisputed Era, right? Because it was all this business about who's attacking UE backstage. It was clearly Pat McAfee. In what I can only describe what he was wearing on his face as the Man in the Iron Mask, but backwards. It was a very strange choice to hide, like, just this part of his face. Just this part. You could still see his facial hair, and you're like, yeah, that's Pat McAfee. I can spot that anywhere. It was a weird choice.
I think that's the feud for them. Maybe that's what they do around Survivor Series.
I'm just wondering who, for the Pat McAfee, Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan crew, who's like the fourth member. And that might be a surprise, but it would make sense for them to feud against all four members of UE unless we're doing some sort of build where Cole can't wrestle because he wasn't on the show last week.
Could it be that guy who attacked Cole after Kyle O'Reilly's match?
Oh my God, the other British guy.
I don't know.
He's out. Yeah. He's out for a while. I think he tore his Achilles or his ACL. He suffered a pretty serious injury. But
so it's definitely not him.
So that would have made sense if he wasn't injured, and I hope he's recovering well. But yeah, I'm interested. I'll be interested to see who the fourth person is, and then it's a big bummer that Finn isn't going to be on this card. Obviously, he's still recovering from what was apparently a very legitimate broken jaw.
Yeah, it looked rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with him not being. He doesn't have to be on the card, every little mini pay-per-view card for them. Yeah. As long as he's back by the next takeover, that'll be fine. I mean, he can make his presence known in some other way, shape, or form. He can just literally come out and stand somewhere and be involved in something.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. It's just weird now, Adam Cole's not on this card. Tommaso Ciampa's not on this card. Finn Balor's not on this card. Who else isn't on this card? I mean, we all have our problems, and I'm kind of glad that he's not on this card, but Dream isn't on the card. Kushida's not on the card.
Yep.
So it's a little funky that some of the big players for NXT are nowhere to be found right now. Karrion Kross obviously still injured, but it's just.
It is a Wednesday. Is this a Wednesday show just with a Halloween Havoc label? So I don't know if it's not technically a pay-per-view, but it does make sense that they're not if this was TakeOver, all those people would be on the card in some form or fashion.
I really think they should have made this a takeover, a mini takeover, or at least just pushed it to Saturday, and so that it was actually on Halloween.
Yep.
Would have made a ton of sense. So, all right. We've been at this for a while now. We're rambling. I'm sure you guys want to get to Halloween Havoc, so make sure that you follow us on social at 2JabroniSPod on Twitter and on Instagram. Make sure that you follow me personally on Twitter at Jeremy A. Loss. You can follow Ben at Cruise Control. That's Control with a K. Make sure you subscribe and like our YouTube channel. This is something that we've been trying really hard to get off the ground. We do these Zoom video calls for that purpose. So please make sure that you subscribe and like. Spend some time with us on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. So, do all that kind of stuff and continue to support us on all your podcasting channels. It's been really great. So thank you.
Help keep us at 69 on the Apple Podcast charts.
We don't want to go up and we don't want to go down. We want to stay at 69.
We want to coast the rest of the way. It's either 69 or 1.
I want to make a shirt that says Two Jabronis with a Wrestling Podcast, and on the back it says the number 69 podcast in America.
I should have screenshotted it when I had it without the red circle, because that definitely should have been on a T-shirt. God damn it! I'm literally thinking of this right now.
I just want to put on a shirt that we have the number 69 Wrestling Podcast on Apple Podcasts. That's just
we can still do that. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We have kids. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you download your podcast. And if you're one of our fantastic Apple Podcast users, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you're feeling spicy, leave a review. And our Spotify people, help us climb those Spotify charts by giving us that follow. Maybe we can get to 69 on the Spotify charts as well. You know, I think it only goes up to 50, but hey, we can dream. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for enjoying the little bit delay this week. Hope you enjoy Halloween Havoc tonight and Dynamite if that's your jam. In the meantime, wash your hands. Stay safe. If you can, stay home. If you can't, wear a mask. Please go vote. Please go vote. Go. Early voting, mail-in votes, whatever is you need to do wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this, please go do that. And then always and forever, Black Lives Matter. All right, everyone, we'll talk to you soon. Peace.